sons.
Yeah.
Nater is absolutely Ashkenazi.
Yes.
To prove he's right, Harman calls up the 1851 Amsterdam census.
And this is the address.
In the document, all residents were required to state their religion.
Town of birth.
And when you state your religion, would you put kind of what branch?
Yes, exactly.
You would?
Of course, because being of one or of the other branch was very important, especially for the Sephardi.
Yes.
By 1851, Coleman and Hannah have already left for England, but other members of their family remain.
Right.
This is, of course, the name of the person and the year of birth and place of birth, his marital status, and here is the religion, Dutch, Israelite, Ashkenazi Jews.
Yes. Okay, well, I've accepted that.
Okay.
Well, I have to say, I have to acknowledge that that has conclusively ended my romantic little dream about having exotic Spanish blood. Can't say I'm massively surprised, but, you know, it would have been nice to have made that Iberian connection, but never mind.
Before she leaves, Nigella receives an unexpected phone call.
Hello? Yes?
It's Harman at the archive. He has some news on Hannah Joseph's father, Koenraad.
Okay, I'll just make my way to a cafe now then. Hello.
Hi.
That was very cloak and dagger. I need to know what you're up to.
Yeah, I must tell you that when people migrate to another country, that always interests me why. And therefore, I always look in the archives of police, of court, and this...
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a copy of a court registration book with all the verdicts. And here you see Koenraad Joseph Summers, 48 years old, and this says that he was guilty of theft. And here it says that he was convicted 20th of April to 1.5 years in prison.
What kind of a sum of money or whatever would he have stolen? Can you tell from that?
No. The problem is, he went for an appeal. And this appeal was for the High Court in The Hague. So that meant that all the papers, the documents that had to do with this case, were sent to The Hague for this appeal.
So I'm off to The Hague then?
Yes!
Okay.
De sneltrein van 14 en 44 over naar Schiphol.
I don't know why Harman was so pleased with himself, considering he lured me to a cafe to tell me I was related to Fagin. But I've recovered. So when I began all this, you know, my son Bruno did say he hoped we would turn out to be related to a bunch of thieves. So at least he'll be pleased.
At the Hague National Archive, researcher Sierk Plontiger has Koenraad's trial documents.
And they have not been opened for, I think, some 170 years, so go ahead.
Oh, my... that's amazing. I think you better open it,
Yeah,
not me. How extraordinary.
The file reveals that Koenraad was accused of stealing a red leather bag from a city centre bar. Inside were 80 lottery tickets, 3 of which were later traced to Koenraad.
So you see here the numbers.
Yes, I can see the numbers.
Number 2151, 2, and so on.
And that was enough to convict someone?
No, not yet. They interrogated him. Finally, they're asking, we have discussed the whole thing, and will you now finally admit that you have done it? And he said, no, I will not.
I presume there are witnesses and they say something about him, or...
Yeah, of course there is the witness.
Yes.
The main witness, the owner of the
Yes.
Red Letter Poach,
Yes.
who said I have seen him that day in my bar.
Right. Is there anything written down from anyone else that describes him or what kind of a person he was? Don't know why I'm asking. It can only be bad.
The barmaid, Louisa,
Yes.
who's telling that Koenraad wasn't there at the pub at the time.
You say it like you don't believe her. I feel you're not being objective. I feel that you...
I'm just telling you
Yes.
what is
Okay.
mentioned here.
Yes, so she says, look, he wasn't even there.
He wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Despite Louisa's testimony, the original trial judge found Koenraad guilty. In April 1830, he was sentenced to 18 months in jail. A verdict later upheld at appeal.
What I don't know, and I don't know if you can answer this, is did he serve this 18 months in prison?
Answering your question, here is a very interesting document just on the end of the file. It's a document from the bailiff,
Yes.
where he said that he went to his house, knocked on the door, and said, "Where's Mr. Samus?" He wasn't there. And his neighbors said, well, we have heard that he's in England. He wasn't even there at his appeal trial.
Oh, so that went ahead in his absence?
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, quite a canny man then, at least. So I suppose now I understand more why he might have appealed, because he can think, look, there's not much chance that I'm going to get this conviction quashed, but if I get everyone busy in The Hague, I can then just pop on a boat, get to England, change my name, start afresh.
It is an interesting suggestion. I don't know.
It's a plan. It's a plan, and you know what? It worked.
Yeah, it worked indeed. He went to England.
Koenraad's fugitive escape to England may well be the most important moment in Nigella's family history. It meant his granddaughter Helena Gluckstein would one day meet and marry Barnet Salmon. A marriage that paved the way for the Lyons catering dynasty.
You can't really imagine a worse start than having to flee a country because you're going to be put in prison. And yet, it was the impetus that was needed. It doesn't really matter whether he was a persecuted innocent. That's sort of irrelevant. Because it's things turn on such small accidents of fate that suddenly the whole family moves in a different way. What's so interesting, and I suppose what my family history teaches me, is that you make your life. That, you can create something, or that somehow how you start off is not how you need to end up. So that it's not that I think the past is irrelevant. I don't. I think it's very relevant, but I don't think you need to be defined by it. And I think maybe that's also what keeps human beings going, because there's something exciting about that. And I think that really the way to live is in the present.
Did your ancestors come to Britain from overseas? If you'd like to get help researching your family history, you'll find expert advice and guides to get you started on the BBC website. Go to bbc.co.uk/familyhistory.